Hi everyone, how's it going? Andy here, also known as that one dude, and welcome to another Dragon Ball Sparking Zero video. Today we'll be going over the leaks and data mine that have happened over these last couple of days. I am putting this video a little bit out later, but it's in a way good, in a way bad, because it's like I kind of wanted to get this out in the front, but I actually didn't have time. I got a little bit busy, but now that I'm doing it now, there's been new information that has come out, so I'm very in a way relieved that I actually waited a bit. So let's actually go ahead and get started by looking at the very first leak that has come out. And of course, shout out to DB Sparking Zero for this. Gohan's outfit from the BoJack movie has been found in Sparking Zero. Now, I am very excited about this. I love that outfit for Gohan. It's one of his. I mean, looking at it, how it looks in game, it looks clean, it looks fresh, it looks amazing. It does. Of course, anything for my boy Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, of course, or Teen Gohan, anything that makes him like outfits or just anything in general or is a very welcome addition to it. Huge fan of Gohan, more specifically Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Iconic it is. I mean, just look at this shot. I remember watching that as the BoJack movie. Chills. That right there gives me chills, honestly. Seeing that shot when he turns into Super Saiyan 2, you just knew it was over. You knew he came in, he was about to just demolish Bojack and his crew, and very much that's exactly what happened. So having that outfit in the game is definitely awesome. Very much looking forward to it. Hopefully we get it sooner rather than later. I will be rocking this fit for him. And of course, like I said, if it comes with the DLC and it's free, awesome. Definitely I'll have it day one. If it's not, I have Zenny set aside for it. I will buy it no matter what it costs. So I am very much looking forward to this, and I cannot wait for this to drop. Now let's move on to the second piece that was interesting, that actually surprised me. Well, not really surprised me, but in a way surprised me, but I'll explain why. Is that Super Android 17 has been located in Sparking Zero's data mine. Now, did I figure that Super 17 was going to be DLC? Yes. Now that it's in the data mine, it makes it seem a little bit sus. I'm probably gonna go on a little bit of a rant here. Reason being is that it seems like maybe they're holding back on him. Initially, that's what I thought. I should probably preface that, is I initially thought this when I saw this, is they held back on releasing Super 17, and I figured, okay, that pretty much confirmed my suspicion of a GT DLC pack coming out. And you kind of need a headliner. When you look at the roster that's there, you kind of already have most of the hard hitting units for GT there. You have the Super Saiyan 4s, you have Gogeta in there, you have Sin Shenron, you have Omega Shenron, you have Baby. Those are basically your heavy hitters for the GT saga. And it's like, okay, so if they're going to do a GT DLC, you're going to have Meta Rildo, Hyper Meta Rildo. You're going to need a strong unit there or a strong character to have released with like the smaller characters. And of course, Super 17 would fit the bill. Is he the biggest? No. But is he still an important character? Definitely. He was in all the Budokai Tenkaichi series games. He was in the third one. So it's like, well, why isn't he here? Well, I figured, okay, maybe they held back on him or there was some other things. There was other things that happened, but I initially thought they held back on him for the DLC. Maybe they wasn't ready. But when I saw the data mine, it's like, okay, so he was ready, but it seems like they just held him back on purpose. Now we're gonna we're gonna overlook the data mine that came out. So when I saw that, I was like, really? So we're doing this? So you're gonna hold back a character just so you can release it as DLC? Like, okay, so you want a headliner? I get it. I do. As a business guy, I understand. Hey, you want to make as much money as you can. Why not hold back a character and release it with a DLC? Yeah, people are gonna be upset, but they'll buy it anyway. And that's how you make money. I mean, you have the three DLCs. Why not continue? It seems like they're going to continue with releasing DLC. Now, could they take a Universe 2 approach? That would be awesome. Universe 2 is still getting DLC to this day, and the game's been out for what, over 8 years, I think, at this point. I mean, that's how you support a game right there. Releasing constant DLC for that many years, that's how you support a game. That's how you get behind your game, which shout out to the Universe team for that. Awesome, awesome, love that. But yeah, I figured Sparking Zero said 3 DLC packs. There was going to be more. I mean, you have OG Dragon Ball and you have GT, you can still go around. But yeah, it's like, for me, it was like, really, you're holding back Super 17 so you have a strong character to release with it. Like, I mean, really? I think you would think as these Dragon Ball fans, we would buy packs, even if they're not strong, just because we want as many characters in the game. Like, yeah, I get it. It's like you want a strong headlining unit, but it's like you're holding stuff back to release it eventually. And it's like, no, that doesn't work. Now, before I move on to why I'm kind of relieved I waited a bit, of course, shout out to DB Sparking Zero again. Let's go ahead and take a quick look here at the data mine. So I wanted to give a shout out because we have a better picture of this. Shout out to Mondo Mega. If you have I think BSKY, you can go ahead and follow him there at mondomega.bsky.social. Go ahead and give him a follow. He's responsible for the data mine, so thank you very much for that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the data mine a little bit better. As you see right here, we have that available. Let's go ahead and raise it up to the beginning. So you see the character, the ID, and the character's name. So basically, when you see 0 to 10, that's Goku. That's all forms of Goku for that matter. So that's pretty much what that means. That's the reason why it's like two separate ones. It's all versions of Goku. You see Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo plus Nail, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and the list goes on. Now, when they're highlighted in red are the ones that didn't make it to the game, but their ID is there. So you can see this first one is Supreme Kai. He wasn't in game, but he was in Budokai Tenkaichi. Should he have made it? Definitely. And of course, go just past Yaji Robe, Pycon. My boy Pycon should have been in game. Why they waited, I don't know. You know, it is what it is. It's cool. They have their reasons. More likely or not, of course, it has to do with DLC. So by looking at this, it seems like they were planned, but at the end they didn't for whatever reason. Whether they're holding them back for DLC or maybe conflicts with the voice actor or the models weren't up to par or they just didn't have enough time to complete them. A lot of reasons could be the reason why they didn't make it in game, but they're in the game files. And going past Pan and Oob, we have Grandpa Gohan, Nam, Android 8, Chi-Chi, and two other slots that weren't filled there. OG Dragon Ball, that's what I'm guessing. I probably would say a few. As you can see, we didn't have. Well, we'll get to that over there in a bit. But of course, going down the list a little bit more, we have here 510, 520, 530. Of course, King Vegeta, Basha, and Apul. Definitely characters that should be in the game. Unfortunately, they didn't make the cut, but eventually, sooner rather than later, I do see them coming. Going down, 610, Salza should have been in the game as well. 640, Zangia should have been in the game. I mean, especially with how little female fighters we have, I believe Fasha and Zangia should have been added, honestly. Now, this is where we believe, well, this is basically, it's not there, it's unknown, but you can almost guess who it is. Super 17. I mean, you have Baby Vegeta, this is blank, and then Sin Shenron. Who else would it be? Super 17. So 690 should have been Super 17, and I believe in Budokai Tenkaichi, that's his ID, is his character ID number, is 690. So that pretty much, yeah, it's not there. Like they hid it for whatever reason, but for all, you can basically say 99% certain that's Super 17. It's a shame that he was left off, but because he seems like an important character for GT. Well, he doesn't seem. He is an important character for GT, and he should have been included with the game, but they have their reasonings for doing it. We're about to see some interesting information soon. Of course, going past Sin Shenron, now you go to 710 through 750, Mercenary Tao, General Blue, Spike the Devilman, Pilaf Machine, and Tambourine. Of course, OG Dragon Ball there. We go to 760, Spopovich 770, Yamu's missing as well. You have 780 through 810, those are in. Now you have 820, Demon King Piccolo. Till this day, I can say he definitely deserves it. I mean, you can hold off on everything, but Demon King Piccolo, he should have been in game. I am sorry. He should have made it. Why he's not there, I don't know. Again, theorizing OG Dragon Ball DLC pack pretty much all but confirms that at this point. Seeing it, all the OG Dragon Ball characters that didn't make it, it all but confirms we're going to get an OG Dragon Ball DLC pack. And just by Super 17 exclusion, it seems like we're going to get a GT DLC pack as well. Of course, going from 870 to 950, of course, all those characters are there. Going to 960, Tagoma, 970, Zeno's Assistant, 980 Champa, 990 Vados. Now, could Zeno's Assistants or Champa and Vados be playable. I mean, maybe it would be cool. I mean, we have Beerus, we have Whis. Why not give us Chomp and Vados? Now, as far as Zeno's assistant, probably not, because at that point, they would be stronger than even Whis and Vados, and I think it wouldn't even be close. So, I mean, do I think they'll be? Probably not. They'll probably be a character model. That'll be it. It's like, I mean, look at here. I actually skipped over this. Going to you have Jocko, but Zeno, yeah. Again, the Grand Minister, which is the Grand Priest, and then Mai. Again, going here, Zeno, Grand Minister, and Zeno's assistant, those are probably just character models. There's no way they'd be playable characters. Zeno, it's like, what? Snap his finger, game over. Yeah, it won't happen. Grand Priest, same thing. He would own the whole game. Zeno's assistant would also own the whole game. So that's those, for all intents and purposes, those probably won't be playable characters. They'll probably be character models, but everybody else would be. Now, of course, we have a bunch of empty spaces here, which of course will be the DLC. And it's interesting here because it seems, even looking at Bergamo, it seems like Lavender and Basil were actually considered for the game. And it's like, these are new characters. So, for all intents and purposes, the creators of Sparking Zero, the developers, were going to include Lavender and Basil in the game. So, why not include them? Just give us a DLC. There you go. I would say they can still give a freebie here and there, especially for the support the game's getting. They can say, you know what, you guys did a great job. Thank you so much for the support. You guys have been having a blast. We've been enjoying it. Here you go, Lavender and Basil as free DLC characters. Now moving on, 1220 to 1310, blank spaces, DLC characters again. Ribrianka, Kudza, and Rosie. And then, of course, 1350 to 1490, empty. Imagine DLC characters, which then leads us to 15, Anilaza. So basically, as you can see, all the blank spaces are DLC characters. We don't know who they are. Of course, Superhero. We can pretty much theorize who we think will be coming to Superhero. We can take a pretty good guess of the character roster coming with the Superhero DLC. The Daima DLC could be different. As you can see, these could be maybe DLC Pack 1. These could be DLC Pack 2. DLC Pack 2, sorry. And this could be DLC Pack 3. So it's interesting to think, hey, you know, we have a lot more characters coming our way, so I'm very excited about that. Now, let's actually move on with the other piece of information here. As you can see, Super 17 right there. Actually, an interesting tidbit here. Chuck Huber, the voice of Super 17, actually commented with just 3 dots after seeing the leak there from DB Sparking Zero. So we saw that. Very interesting, very cool. I mean, it's interesting to think, hey, like, it's right there. So I take it for what you will. Maybe he did voice it and it wasn't released, and he's like, really? They didn't release it? Or he can be like, I never got asked. So he left it vague for what he meant with those 3 dots. We can only theorize what he meant by that. But again, I like I said, I believe Super 17 will be in game, but he's going to be as DLC. But I'll still say this. I hope it's sooner rather than later that we get Super 17, because my boy deserves to be in game. He does. You can say whatever you want about his story. GT isn't the best. That I agree with you, but my boy Super 17 deserves to be on it. Now let's move on to the last part here. Shout out to my boy DBS Hype for the information. This is where I said I'm kind of excited. I held off, kind of glad I held off a bit for the information before making the video. He goes over some stuff that was found. Now, it seems like Evolution Blue Vegeta and Blue Kaioken Goku were going to be separate characters or separate transformations. Because as you can see right here, at the cannot talk. As you can see by the icon right in front of us, Evolution Blue Vegeta had a transformation. It was going to be a standalone transformation, which meant he was going to be a character. And that's something I've said from the beginning, that Evolution Blue Vegeta should have been a transformation and should have had his own character. It's a shame that it's just a power-up for Blue Vegeta, and you can't choose it. You have to power up with him, and you just see it there. That's it. You can't choose him as a character. You can't transform and keep it that way. If you transform, you can keep it, but you just can't choose him as a character, and he doesn't have a picture like this, a portrait or a separate character model for it. It's a shame. It sucks. He deserved it. He very much did. You see, Kaioken Blue Goku was going to be the same way. Now, the thing with Evolution Blue Vegeta, why I'm so adamant that he should have been a separate character, because it feels like a separate transformation. I mean, the anime says it's a separate transformation. It's a stronger transformation of Blue. It's Vegeta's unique transformation. Why it's not separate from in game, I don't know. That honestly kind of made me salty, upsetted me a bit. It's like, really, you couldn't give Evolution Blue Vegeta its own character model or its own character on the character selection screen? Like, really? I don't understand the reasoning for it. It's not a power up of Blue. If not, Goku would have it. It's its own unique transformation that's unique to Vegeta, and it's like the one thing that's unique to Vegeta isn't in the game. Like, come on, really? The Kaioken Blue Goku, it would be awesome to have him separate, absolutely, but I understand. Look at base Goku when you use Goku early. He has Kaioken, but it's a power up, and that's believable. In the anime, again, same thing. It's considered a power up. It's Goku's way of powering up. Kaioken times 2, times 4, it's a technique. It is. Evolution Blue Vegeta is not a technique, it's a transformation. Why they thought of making it like Kaioken, I don't know. That's a question for them. I wish they would rectify that with a future patch or a future DLC and say, okay, you know what? We changed our mind. Evolution Blue Vegeta will be a transformation and it'll be its own unique character. Here you go. I hope that happens. I do, because my boy Evolution Blue Vegeta does deserve it. Not only because maybe I'm one of the few people, but I really love that form. I do. I enjoyed looking at that form. It looks great. Like I said, I may be weird for this one, but I really enjoyed Evolution Blue Vegeta, and he definitely deserved to have his own form. Again, he deserved to have his own form in game, and he should have his own form in game. Again, Evolution Blue Vegeta should be its own form. This one, again, I can see why it's not. I can completely understand. Kaioken is a technique, and this doesn't deserve it. Well, he does. I mean, of course, doesn't deserve it. No, I understand for him not deserving it or having his own character. That I completely get. That I completely understand and completely get. But again, Evolution Blue Vegeta deserves it. And should get his own form. It should. Doesn't make sense that he doesn't. Kaioken Blue Goku. I understand why he's not his own character. Kaioken's a technique. I get it as using it as one of his skill supers. Completely understand that. Now, as you can see, we'll go to the next one. Belmont's icon is in the Datamine, so it seems like he was gonna be in game. Now, is he gonna be a character? Probably not. Was he gonna be a character model? Sure. Was he maybe gonna pop up in a story, or maybe is, for example, like Whis' wishes or something like that? Yes. It seems like that was the intention with him, because from what I understand, it's not a character icon. It's just, or a character model. It is a character icon. That's it. So we could see Belmont come sooner rather than later. Um, Probably as a DLC pack, maybe with the gods. So it's interesting that he was in game. It seems like he was going to be released with the initial game at some point during development, but they ended up scraping that idea. So we will definitely see Belmont come down. When that'll happen, who knows? But it's going to be cool once we see him and see what was he originally going to show up for him. I mean, could it be maybe a god event? But maybe it's like a tournament of power type of game style. Would be pretty cool to think about. So we can definitely theorize on that. But yeah, we can expect to see Belmont in game sooner rather than later. And of course, to the last bit here, it's about Super 17. DBES Hype basically goes over and says, look, while one data miner found some internal ID of Super 17 under base character IDs, another reliable data miner suggests that it's nothing more than a guess, not enough proof. At the same time, the official VA quoted the Super 17 used with ... So we're basically looking at two different data miners saying two different things. One of them is saying, yeah, here's the internal ID for Super 17, matches up. It is him. Another one's saying it's more of a guess, not enough proof to say, hey, this was meant to be Super 17. There's not enough proof for us to concrete say that's the case. Could have been for something else. We won't know. So it's really just taking a word of word. So we don't know exactly why Super 17 was excluded. He might not even be part of the data mine. That number that we saw there right now might not even be for Super 17. The number... Sorry if that messed it up a bit. The number 690 might not even be for Super 17. It might be for another character. It might be Meta Rildo for all we know. So it's interesting to think. So we're basically going off of, he said type of thing, or he said she said type of thing. So it's just better to wait and see what happens. Do I think Super 17 will come? Absolutely. He'll be part of a DLC pack. When it'll come out, who knows? But we just have to hope it's sooner rather than later. So yeah, that pretty much covers all of the news here. Super 17 there. The VA basically you can interpret it in both ways. So it's very interesting to think, hey, there's not concrete evidence one way or another. Basically, we have to rely one person's word or the other person's word, and it seems like both are reliable. So it's like, we're on iffy territory here. So, but just basically to sum it all up, are we gonna get Super 17? Absolutely. We will definitely be getting Super 17 in game. We saw Gohan's outfit from the BoJack movie. Very excited about that. We also saw Belmont's icon in game, so that's right there. We went over the list of the Datamine characters or character IDs that are in game currently in Sparking Zero. Again, we can probably expect that as DLC. We saw the unknowns. Of course, we get superhero and Daima DLCs. And of course, we saw the character IDs. Well, not character IDs, the character icons of Kaioken Blue Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta. Again, this one, Kaioken Blue Goku, I understand him not having his own character model or his own transformation. Completely get that. Kaioken's a technique. Evolution Blue Vegeta makes no sense why he doesn't have his own transformation, why he doesn't have his own character model, why he can't be chosen as a character. Don't know. That's a question for the Sparking Zero developers. But yeah, pretty much that wraps up the video here. We went over the news, we went over the data mine. So let's go ahead and finish off this video. So of course, if you enjoyed what you saw, leave a like, subscribe. Of course, feedback is always appreciated, and I will catch you all in the next video. Later, guys.